Morning. It is Tuesday. Yes, I think. Yes, Tuesday. Oh, excuse me. A little bit off to a slow start this morning. I had some issues with my screen again. I told you guys yesterday I was having trouble with it. It's been acting up for like the last week, so I don't know if it means it's on its last leg or what, but we suspect it's something to do with the drivers. We updated drivers, or I did, uh, sometime shortly before that, and since then I've been having trouble with it coming on when it's supposed to, like when I first boot up or when it's gone to sleep and I have to wake it up again. It doesn't always want to cooperate. So I had a lot of trouble with it this morning apparently. So wasn't even sure if I was going to get to stream because I need the two monitors working properly to be able to set everything up. So. But I'm going to have my husband look at it this evening when he gets home from work. Either we're going to try reverting everything back to the older drivers or something. I don't know what's going to be required, but it's just very frustrating. So let me put a tweet out real quick. We'll just leave it the plain one. Extra. Okay, so first of all, for Aurora or anyone else that was here yesterday wondering about trying to install partial sets, like say you have a set of 150 items that you're wanting to place on a plot, but you only have like a portion of that or you're missing a few pieces, how that works. I have emailed Katya to ask her about that specifically and a few other variations, but I have yet to hear back from her. Sometimes it takes a day or two, sometimes longer. Depends on her activity as far as in game and stuff. I actually sent her an email direct to her actual home account thing, so I'm hoping that that will catch her attention faster. But if nothing else, I'll poke her in game and on the forums and stuff to try and get her attention because sometimes she is, not everybody checks their email every 5 seconds like I do. So I will try and get her attention to see if we can get that answered. As well, for those of you that probably remember me asking Bones with some assistance to get the rock to cover the entrance, we discovered, thank you to Maddie for bringing it up, that the sandstone and the gray stone don't function the same. There is a gray stone that you can place on the platform directly. I think it's the gray tiered stepping stone or something. And the sandstone has an exact matching decor piece. I mean, the dimensions are the same, the shape, everything, but they don't behave the same because the gray one is hollow and the sandstone one isn't. So you can't place the sandstone one in place of the gray colored one. It's kind of weird. It clearly shows that one or the other is not working as intended, or whoever set the decor up in the first place did it improperly on one or the other. But I don't want to bring it to Carbine's attention because I'm worried that if it's intended that they be solid and not be uh, not abused, but used in the fashion that we are, specifically the gray ones, then I don't want them to go, oh, well, we should fix that and make it so that the gray ones don't fit on there anymore. So just one of those things that while I would love to have a rock covering this thing to kind of hide it a little bit, I'm just going to leave it because apparently that is not a feasible bit for the particular rock that I'm using. I happen to pick the sandstone for most of the rocks on this particular plot, and it just works out that that's not going to be possible to set it up to cover the port. Hey Bones and Poi, good morning to you both. One thing I would like to mention, it's not specifically housing related. Again, I know sometimes I kind of veer off of that, but I think it might be something interesting for those of you that while you um, are into housing, you may be connected with a group that isn't completely, but you still like to be involved. And what I'm talking about is Carbine has started up a new Guild Spotlight series. Um, it's the first issue or interview type of thing is already up on the news section of the official website, um, and it gives a quick rundown through the guild that they're spotlighting first, which it is Blood Pack. Congratulations to them. It is a Dominion EU guild, as it were. Um, and basically, they ask some questions about how they got started, what they look for in their players. Um, this one is a specific, it's specifically a rating guild. So they ask a lot of questions about the rating kind of setup that they have, like how often they raid, that kind of stuff. Um, and of course, they allow them a little bit of a self-promotion as far as what kind of players they're looking for um, that might want to join them and how to apply, et cetera, et cetera. Well, come this, I believe it's Wednesday, October 12th, beginning at 11 a.m. PDT, which is, hold on, it is 11 a.m. PDT, that's 8 p.m. our time, CEST, um, 7 p.m. for London, apparently. Um, they will be live streaming Blood Pack's progress um, through their Red Moon Terror raid. Uh, it's going to be very freeform because they're showcasing how the guild itself progresses, how they work together, the kind of preparations they do between fights, that kind of stuff. So it's really going to be on the guild's shoulders to, give us a good performance. But and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of pressure on them for that fact that they know that other people are going to be watching. But I think it's a really nice step for Carbine to reach out to guilds. Now, they do have a link to their thread in the forums. It is in the general discussion section, and in that they welcome any other guild that would like to be considered for the spotlight. Now, you apply, it doesn't mean your guild actually gets selected, but they're allowing you to, I guess, uh, put your hat in, say, hey, my guild, and why you think that your guild deserves the spotlight, and Carbine will shuffle through them and select certain ones. I don't know how often they're going to be doing this. If it's going to be once a month, every week, you know, once every 3 months, I have no idea. I don't even think it's specifically said in the thread, but they do give a link to a Google Doc sheet, I believe it is, that has a form that you can fill out, giving like your email information. Now, this is the guild leader that should be the one to make the initial contact, providing the email contact that they can reach you at. You explain what your guild's primary focus is. So I want to stress this isn't just for raiding guilds. If you happen to have a role-playing guild, a housing guild, if one of those types exists, completely social, if you focus on PvP, this will be a good chance for you to showcase those things that your guild is primarily focused and interested in and promoting. Um, so I don't know what all they're going to be looking for, what exact criteria they're hoping to get. I don't know if it has to be a guild that's been in long standing, or if a new guild that's just been created wants to show themselves off. I have no idea. All I can say is if you think your guild deserves a spotlight, now's your chance to submit your guild the extra scrutiny. Tell them why you think it deserves a spotlight, and see how it goes. So, yeah, for me, it doesn't really matter. I'm guiltless at the moment. So, uh, but I think it's a great community thing that they're doing. It gives people something to kind of strive for if they want to kind of clean things up in their guild so that they can present it in a nice, presentable way. And just, not only to promote their own guild, but, to also promote the community, its members. Uh, just, I think it's a great thing. So definitely something to check out if you belong to a guild that you think deserves a little bit of extra attention for their efforts, and that kind of thing. Other than that, I don't think anything else is going on, other than we do have I believe the hoverboard event is still ongoing, and we do have the double XP event ongoing. I think the double XP ends on the 17th, so you still got quite a bit of time on that if you haven't gotten a chance to take advantage. And of course, on the 12th, we are expecting the new Madame Faye goodies to go live. That does mean that anything that she's currently offering in her little coin rewards, you need to get that grabbed now, because those things will be retiring, from what I understand. Now, when I say retire, that doesn't mean that you won't see it ever again. I think they're hoping to do like a rotation kind of thing on a lot of it. So uh, it's limited time, but it doesn't mean that you'll never see it again. That kind of stuff. Okay, so wow, I am so not with it this morning. So we pretty much left things where we left it yesterday. Was we did the grass part, kind of opened up the path, added some bushes, trees, and I guess some kind of mountains in the background just to kind of break up a little bit of the sky. I did add a tester tree to see about how it's going to work, if it's going to be visible, how it's going to lay against the books, that kind of stuff. You'll notice I did modify this a bit. I pushed it all in. I linked it all together and pushed it in so that the books didn't have a gap on the side. I also finished up covering up the bits down at the bottom. I also did push the books in a bit further. I basically pushed them in as far as I could before the white part of the paper of the book wasn't showing anymore. So they're as close as they can get to the surface. Now, I haven't done that with the bushes. I probably will at some point, especially as we start fiddling with the trees. But everything's pretty much as we left it yesterday, except for the tester tree. The tree that I chose is the corrupted trees. You get these directly from the renowned vendor at the front of your housing plot. I think there are 150 renowned per tree set. It's actually a set of 3 corrupted trees. It's like a little clump, and I've just sunk it in and sized it so that only one of them are showing. I don't know if this particular tree is going to work. It's what I'm hoping, because I like the color of it. Some of the other trees that are kind of leafless are lighter in color, they're more brown. I wanted mine to be kind of on the dark side. There are the, what are they called? The grass weeds, I think. Yeah, these here. There are these that you could use, but the only issue with them is they do move. So it might not be ideal. These move too, but it's a more subtle movement as opposed to these. These kind of really wiggle a lot more. And of course the little graspy parts open and close. So if you were to place them in, for example, just put them in here. if you were to put them in, um, depending on what part you have showing, it may sink uh, further in than you want. Like if I want the really tall one showing, maybe sometimes only part of it will be showing up at the top. See how it sinks down inside? That would mean I'd have to pull it out further to make sure it's showing all the time, or at least most of the time, and that it's still not quite like what I want, that kind of thing. So it's doable, but again, it's one of those things that you just have to kind of weigh. Do you want it? It's kind of like the forest painting I did with the mossy overgrowth. I used part of that for part of the path to make it zigzag through the painting, and the ends of those will disappear off and on depending on the wind of the plot, because and so it makes it look like the uh, the edges of the path are kind of like pulsating or something, constantly changing. So, it looks great in a screenshot when you can capture it just right, but as you're staring at it, it's constantly fluctuating. It looks a little weird. I've had other paintings with moving parts that sometimes there's just no going around it, getting past that. But so it's possible to use it. It's a nice dark color, but I think I prefer the other one. One, it's much taller, at a good size. I could increase the size of this one, but then I start having more issues with the tree showing up outside of it, the frame. Yeah, it's hard to get it just in the right place, because then you think, okay, it's perfect, and then it starts moving in the wrong spot. But yeah, I don't think that's the one I would want to use. So I'm trying with the corrupted, and the first issue is obviously you want the trees that are closer to you perspective wise, you want those to be bigger, and you want the other ones to be smaller. So as we get closer to the house, we want it to be smaller. The problem with that is, depending on the item you're using, it could mean that the item itself becomes less and less visible. Uh, so I've gotten a few extras to play around with, and I'm going to try and show you what I'm talking about. So like, just say I use the same exact tree part. I'm already at 0.03, so I'm not going to be able to reduce it a whole lot. We go to the 0.02, that puts us trying to judge about where it's good. And then if I make another one, I see how much of a difference there is between the 0.01 and the 0.02. This is 3, this is 2, this is 1. See how big of a difference there is between the steps? So I'm doing 0.0175 now. It kind of looks the same as the 2, but it's actually shorter, which is weird. It kind of shows at 0.02, but it's really not. What I could do is hide part of the bottom of the tree so that it looks like a different height. That may mean I need to lean it forward just a little, just to give it a different, so it's not the same height as the rest of them. Now, of course, because I want to keep it kind of not so same all the way across, obviously you don't want the trees all being turned the same direction. So then you get into the issue of, okay, if I want to turn it, does that mean a different tree is going to pop up? Does that mean uh, if I move it, does something stick out the side that I don't want showing out the side? That kind of thing. So it becomes more of a trick. Okay, which tree do I use? Which one do I not? Because this one, again, is a clump of three. So it just becomes a game of, okay, which one works best where. And again, I don't want these sticking out too far, so I have to push it in. And again, there is a little bit of movement, so you do have to contend with that. Just lots of tweaking and twisting and adjusting. Because again, I can see there's a little bit of stuff sticking out here. So I'm tilting the tree or the trees. How much bigger that is? I want it to be kind of the same size. That's not going to work, I don't think. Well, maybe we'll move this one up to midway. Yes, I know there's a little bit of the tree sticking out here, but I'm not too worried about that. The one that comes here will probably cover that up. So I think that'll be all. And this is an example of where that pushing in the bushes or the trees in the background would probably be important because I'm having to pull this one pretty forward to make it visible past the above. Because again, we're doing that layering thing. Just like this right here, it's hidden behind the house. I'm having to pull it forward. This one, I don't want something road. That's going to be a problem. Again, I'm not really looking at where that thing is sticking out. It's probably too far. Yeah, see, it's like floating. Oh gosh. Looks great from the front, but not so much from the side. You have all these sticking out. Now you could try and just make your own tree. I did do some experimenting and I couldn't quite get it to work, but somebody else might be able to. Um, I will show what I'm talking about. Um, well, better. Just drag one of these up. But you could use something like the thing that we use for the dress, the trellis. You could probably get away with using this as either part of a tree or maybe make an entire tree out of it. Like I said, I tried experimenting with it, but I couldn't quite get it to work like I wanted. Um, See, like this could be the trunk with some of the branches coming up, and maybe just use multiples at different sizes to make the branches and such. I think it will use quite a few, so it might not be ideal. Maybe you just want one trunk showing, then you would just do like we did with the dress part. You just uh, twist it and sink it so that only one is showing. That kind of thing, and then do the same with that. But I think that's a lot of pieces for this flat looking tree. You might could use some of the like the trunks, like the mossy log, the dry log, um, to be able to fashion your tree. I've done that in a few pieces. Uh, Maybe just the like this one. This is good for a nice forest scene if you just push it in so you just see part of it. Makes for a great base of a tree, and then just add some leaves and stuff of such. But you could also just use multiples of these and make an old gnarly spooky tree or something that doesn't have any leaves and stuff. Um, but maybe you could do the thorny logs as well. I don't know. That would again be a lot of pieces, I think, to try and represent a nice full little bit up top. That's why I'm kind of sticking with just the actual tree. It's easier. You get a lot of the little uh, leafless bits up top. They're harder to see. Mostly we're just seeing the stick part. But I think that works better than piecing it together. I'm not saying it's not possible. It's just I think it's easier. But you know, someone more skilled at kind of coming up with a natural looking tree might could do it. Okay, so they're kind of getting a little bit better. Trying to shorten this one up a little. Not quite working like. Maybe that's too short. Because these two look about the same to me. And I want this one to be a little bit scrunchier. Oh well. Try and get one for the middle here. Something like that. Now, if you want this a little bit more filled up with like leaf, not leaf, but limbs and stuff, then I would say just add maybe kind of bake in some extensions to the other trees. Now that kind of looks like sort of maybe it's joined to the other one, so kind of. And then do the same over on the other side. Out there. There we got some little bit of crisscrossing going on some of the branches, and it kind of fills it up a little bit better. Then you have this creepy drive or path to this spooky house. Again, there's other elements you could add. Maybe you put a piece of a fence or something, or throw in. I mean, you could add like some of the lanterns and stuff if you like have the spooky lamps. You could add the lantern there. Again, a lot of the lights might have a little bit of motion, but if you just wanted to add some kind of, I don't know, light source or something, or bring attention to a specific area, you could put black birds, or maybe if you get really good with the shapes, you could put like a bat shape in here. You could put an owl perched in one of the trees, maybe. We could add some kind of a moon thing. Um, uh, Maybe a black cat crossing the path, a wagon, an old scarecrow sitting on the side, maybe a warning sign, that kind of thing. I'm not quite sure where I want to go with that. I think it's missing something though. But as far as the moon stuff, I will show you what I did with. I'm still kind of sort of working on Carrot's the haunted house fab kit. And and I will show you what I've done with it. I don't think it'll work for the painting just because of how it's set up. There's no way you can get it to work exactly the same, but I did want to show you what I've done in here for those that haven't actually come by and checked it out for themselves. What I've done is I've inserted a spotlight. You can't really see it, it's sunk into the ceiling there, but it's a Chua spotlight, and I've sized it up big enough so that it is able to shine against the opposing wall, but I've hidden it enough so that it's usually like, you know how a projector works, you can kind of see the beam of light going through the air. It's just hidden behind the window that's back there, so that gives a little bit of like a creepy moon in the background. You can see I've added a lot of trees and junk. I wanted to make it look like a scene from the distance, that you would go through a path and you'd find a graveyard up on the hill. Not quite working as well as I would hope, because again, I'm playing with perspective a lot, even though I can actually walk right up to it. So it's not quite the same, but it's a start, I guess. And this was that mask. I told you that sometimes it has that spooky effect. This is what it looks like. Again, it's one of those that you can cleanse and it will go away. It'll just be the item itself. And then after a minute or so, it should restart as if it's haunted again. This part here I wanted to make look like a creepy cave kind of thing, and that's one of those Shades Eve trees. Which one? Screaming Hollow tree. The one that looks like the arms are like kind of rooted into the ground, and he's just got his mouth real open, and I'm just using the mouth part. Again, I'm not real happy with the way the haunted windows, not the haunted, the spooky windows work, as far as they actually have two layers. They have the colored layer, and then they have this little misty layer right in front. So there's a bit of a gap. So you can see the lines of that kind of breaking through. Depending on how I have my camera moved, you don't see it. So I prefer it without the line, obviously, because it kind of detracts when you have the lines in there. But, oh, see, it's re-spookified now. Just a funny little thing. It's that, and I think the top hat one with the Jack Shade's head on the stick. I think it's those two. Now, there may be other items that do it as well, but those for sure, I know. But I like how that turned out. I tried using like plates, the ends of the white fence post, because it's got that round ball on the end, and I thought, oh, that would make a good, but sinking it into the wall, it doesn't stay perfectly round or semi-round. It kind of turns squarish and lumpy. So it's like a misshapen moon, and it didn't quite look right. I've tried the firework, the red firework, because it has the white bottom on it. That didn't work very well. It looks too sharp and too bright. And I also tried different spotlights. I tried, or different lighting fixtures. I tried the Exile chandelier. I know it's pretty bright. I tried the gaming pool table light. That was awkward. I think it's just called Spotlight. There's also one that's actually, it moves. That for sure wouldn't have worked, because that would have looked a little weird, I think. But the Chua one worked the best, in my opinion. I probably could add a second one to brighten it up, but I kind of like that it's a little hazed out, because that plays into the like misty effects that the spooky window has. and I think it just works okay. But the rest is just crowded graves, a little bit of rocks and bushes. Again, I was trying to make it look like in a distance a path going up a hill, and on the hill is where the graveyard is. But I probably will rearrange it a little bit. Still not quite certain that I want it that way. You can see I've just got trees that are just kind of floating in the air there. I was just moving them around because, again, much like the glass on a picture, you have the glass in front of something, you're always selecting the glass. Spooky windows work the same way. If you have anything behind this little haze, you will be selecting the haze. So if I push things too far in to the window to get it nice and flat, then I can't select it anymore. That's why I have this little bunch here linked to the stone, because part of this I can't click on anymore. If I try to click on the crowded graves, I end up getting the spooky window instead because of that weird layering it has. So be mindful of that if you're going to use the window in any way close to this kind of thing. Okay, so back to the picture. So if you want to do a moon type of object for that, I have to have something that, isn't playing with the light, because obviously you can't have the light floating out away from the picture. You could sink it up into the roof maybe, but because of the way I built this particular roof, I don't think that's going to be very feasible. Let's get on there. Simply because I have it built the way I've got it. It might work, but again, it's going to have to be relatively small, and the smaller it is, the closer the light will have to be able to actually show some light on the picture itself. So again, I don't think it's a feasible option for this particular setting. So maybe we could try the plate. I think it's going to be too silvery. Can't use the regular plate because it has that eyeball thing on the back. If it was just a pure white, that would probably be just perfect, but this has that, it looks like an eyeball to me, a little bit here. If it was completely gradiated to a white without this dark spot, it'd be perfect, I think. But it's not just, it just looks like an eye to me. And if I just try to show this, you can see it doesn't quite let me do that. It's like perfectly flat at one point, and so it entirely disappears. The metal plate, I think, is going to be too shiny. A lot of people like to use this for mirrors. I think it's too shiny and too dark. But I will see. I'm hoping if I can get it behind the glass, maybe it will make it light enough and not have it look weird. But there, how does that look? To me, it's still kind of too dark. It looks great when it's flashing, but I think, see how it's really dark? I just don't think it's the right color. I don't think I have any fence posts. No, I just got the arch, the picket arch. I might craft up some white picket fence posts to see if the little ball bit on that will work. But again, I think it'll be kind of a dirty white. Plus, again, with the glass leaning at the top, I think it'll be like part of it'll be dark and part of it'll be light, and it'll look a little funny. So I need something that's a little bit more flat. I don't think the rocket will work either, but maybe we'll try it just to see. The red one. Nice and bright, that's for sure. Too big, too small, be higher. A little to the left, a little to the right. Becomes a guessing game as far as what works well. And I haven't been checking any of this to see if there's stuff sticking out that shouldn't be. Looks all right, I guess. We'll go ahead and place it. So there's your creepy moon. Now it looks shinier on the top, and that's mostly because there's a light up here. Remember, any lighting you have in your room, that's going to affect how things look on your paintings, because just, there's reflective light to everything. Some things are going to look darker, some are not. That's one of the things when I started working on like trying to put together an art gallery. I had trouble with some paintings not showing up nicely because they didn't have any lighting on them at all. So I had to start putting in like little spotlights to try and focus on them. And then some, you put the light on them and it's just too bright, like the ones that's all glass. Those are like super bright anyway, so you add a light to it and it almost whitewashes everything. So of course, if I wanted to move this or twist it a little bit or change it up, I'm going to have to do the decor finder, because there's no way for me to click on that. I'm pretty sure that's directly behind the glass. Yeah. So you can either use, if you're not using CATIAs, you can use the place decor list and hunt for it that way. It's helpful to know the name because there isn't a search kind of tool. If you use CATIAs, then you can just use the decor finder and then say like hit search, and it will find any rockets that are within the vicinity of your search. You can shorten the range if you want. I'm sure it's picking up those that are down below. Say 20, I guess. Oh, work. There we go. Much simpler, isn't it? And it will find it for you, and then you can adjust like so. If you want to make it more round, the best way to do that is just to replicate it. And slightly turn it, and then it'd be more round. I think the fluted parts will show up more, and there is going to be a little bit of a flashy bit, just because, again, two things are trying to occupy the same space. But if you want it a little bit more round, you can do it like that. You could have a bat or a bird or, ET on the bike zooming past it if you want. if you want to do it that way. I don't think I don't know if that's too big or too small. I think it's about right. I'm still trying to think of what I want to put here. I'm not quite sure. You could throw in just some pumpkins, a little bit of hay or something, a hay bale, like a greeting kind of thing. Um, I don't know what else. What do you guys think? What do you think is missing? Again, you can see that there's a lot of stuff sticking out the front, like that tree's still floating there. That bugs me the most out of everything, I think. The trunk not in a good position. Because, while I know that from the side most of the paintings are going to look a little weird, I still try to keep it a little tidy, but bug me. If I can tilt it a bit. Yeah, not floating so much. That's kind of our Shades EV fall, autumn, Octoberish looking painting at this point. I think I will sleep on it as far as what else I might want to add. I don't want to get it too cluttery. I want to keep it fairly simple because, again, if you're going to share this with somebody, that's another thing to be thinking about how much decor you're dumping into it. As it is, I've put a ton of books. So this is going to be quite a few pieces all together. In fact, let's see if I can get all of this linked together just to kind of give a guesstimate. I don't know if I'll be able to link everything. I'm going to have a hard time grabbing those, but I will see what I can get a hold of. I think that's everything besides the moon. Two pieces in it, in and of itself. Wow, it's lagging out. It tells you how many pieces was there. Oh my gosh, that was a lot. Let's see. Was it this one? No. This one? Yeah, I didn't get that one. And there was another one in here somewhere that was still that one. So I think that's everything besides the moon, which is two pieces. So let's just, anyone want to take a guess as to what this is? Decor wise? See. I'll just say spooky house. There are 148 pieces so far. So that's not too bad. I think usually I try to stay around 200 is a good number. Because again, if you're going to be sharing these with other folks, um, uh, and you're looking to make it easy on them, you want to keep it within a shareable amount. And I wanted to mention that it is set up now so that if what you're wanting to share is too long, too many pieces, it will tell you. It'll say this is too big to share. So that's something to keep in mind. I don't know the exact amount. Um, Did you think it was that high? I guess it might have been because of the books. I think it's mostly books. But that's something to keep in mind because if someone's already pinched for a decor space, and then you go, oh, well, I have this painting that you can have, but it's going to cost you 300 decor. That might be something they have to go, whoa, 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 maybe. Because I've had a few that have planned to put a particular painting on one plot and had to change their mind about it because they simply don't have the space for it. And that's unfortunate, but that's how it works. It's not like we can save a set of something and then have it be considered one piece. That would be awesome, but that's not how it works. So, with cobbling, keep in mind, that like I've kind of made it so it's simplified for everything except the grass. The grass is the part that's kind of went all out with using so many pieces. Well, I guess it's better to kind of overestimate. That way you kind of keep it reined in a little better. Anywho, I think we're going to go ahead and call it, guys. I know it's kind of a little bit, and everything, but I got a kind of a slow start today because I was, of course, fussing with the screen. I don't know what is wrong with that thing, but it's really frustrating. It started off where I could turn it off and turn it back on, and it worked fine, and now it's like the combination to get it to work it changes moment to moment. So later, when I step away from the computer and come back after it's gone to sleep, I'll have to figure out how to wake it up again because it's never the same. Sometimes I have to completely reboot the computer. Sometimes I just have to put it to sleep and then wake it up and it works fine. Other times it's on, off, on, off, on, off 3 or 4 times and then it'll finally work. It's just annoying. Strangely frustrating that it's messing up like it is. So I'm hoping it's just the drivers. And again, my husband is going to try and sort that out this evening so that hopefully it is working well tomorrow. And of course, we are having the house tours tomorrow. That's something I have to go through this evening to try and get our houses in order. It should be Dominion side this week. Fingers crossed I can find enough on there. If not, we'll just dig up some exile ones. I've got plenty of places on that side that we can look at. Reminder, we do have the CBDC showcase coming on the October 31st. We have already a good number of participants this month. We've got a total of so far 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, at least 10 or more so far monsters that will be showcased at this point. And you still have several weeks to go. So put on those thinking caps. If you have some kind of a monster you've been wanting to make, you haven't gotten your Shadesy plot started, but you want to get it going, now is the time to do it, to get it done, and let me know about it. Just give me the info about what faction, what region, the character name, what it is, just in case I'm unfamiliar with it. And I will be delighted to share it with everyone on the stream on the 31st. There's that. There's also, of course, I'm hoping to get together a gaggle of spooky homes, for entire plot tours. If you know of any of those, I'm also aiming to do a spooky house tour sometime towards the end of the month. I don't know a specific day yet, but I have at least the one that I know of. Most of the homes that we toured last year, they either aren't available or have changed their theme. So if you know of a spooky theme plot, you have one that you would like included, let me know as far as that as well. I prefer either ones that have been renovated or expanded from last year or completely new ones. But if you have one that hasn't been touched since last year and you still think it deserves a spot, let me know. I will probably include it depending on how many we actually have submitted. I know of, I think it was Penny Dreadfuls. I think that's Bones's spooky alt. Were you working on one, Poi? I can't remember who else was. I don't know if Maddie's got anything going, but I am hopeful that we'll have at least a handful that we can tour and make it a nice little spooky week in there somewhere. So again, just contact me about that. I want to keep that restrained to Jabot though for the spooky house tours. It's just easier at this point. But the CBDC is of course open to both regions, so feel free on that. Again, reminder that we do have some events ongoing. There's the Z Pre-Invitational Hoverboard Racing event. There's the Double XP Explosion that's lasting until the 17th, I believe. And then, of course, tomorrow there will be the new Madame Faye items. I'm writing that down, boy, so I remember. What's the last name? Kit what? I always want to say Kitten Caboodle, but I know that's not the name that you gave it. Oh gosh. Well, hopefully you get that sorted before the last week. Oops, wrong thingy. I got too many files that I keep track of this stuff. Because I know you have a winter one that you were working on. I think that was on Josie. There's Rosie, which isn't exactly finished either. I don't have kits on here. I'm adding it to my list though. Work in progress. Everybody's is work in progress. Right. That's the name. Okay. I added it. I've got a spooky plots list ongoing for ones that I think will work for that. Okay. So yeah, thanks guys for joining. Again, appreciate all of the support, the tweets, the retweets, the follows, the votes, and of course the company. See, that's how I do it for my husband. I'll say something funny and he'll go, that sounds like a good name. Like he saw me change my Twitter account name. I've got Starrett Scream Thief, and he thought I had cream cheese, so he's gonna change. I think he said Scabby Cream Cheese is what he's gonna make a character. And I was like, no, don't do that. Oh, did you create it? Oh, I can't remember which one was Josie's. I know you've got one that's got like that the house on stilts or something. It's not that one, is it? Because I like that house. I'm seriously thinking about creating carrots. I know that. I've had that. I want to say I've had that one set like that for about a year now. I don't know how long it's been. I'll have to look it up just to see how long. But I know it's been a while, and I'm getting kind of sick of looking at it. I like the concept of having it and being able to change out things, but I just kind of get sidetracked and I don't change out anything like I had planned. So I think I'm on the verge. Maybe that's something I'll do with the new year. I'll just scrap it all at the end of the year, and starting January I'll just make a new project of some sort. But I have no idea what I want to do with it. That's the problem. Oh, okay. So Kit's Place. Okay. I knew it was one of them, but I couldn't remember because Kit's is the one that has the doduo on it, isn't it? You put I think it was like a little gazebo thing with the flowers and stuff, and he's in there. Yeah, I like that place. I like all your places though. Okay, so we're gonna go for sure. Hope you guys have a great day. Again, join us tomorrow for house tours if you can. If not, your loss. Yeah, you can always catch the videos on YouTube if you can't make it for the live show. Of course, we archive everything. Um, so you can enjoy it at your leisure, especially helpful on maintenance days when the game goes down for a few hours. It's a good time to catch up on videos then. Hint, hint. Um, but yeah, thanks again for joining. Hope you have a good day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.